Good morning and welcome to Kunzang Pale Choling. We will be doing our Sunday morning meditation. Just turn this volume up here. And hello to everyone online. Welcome. Let's take a moment to remember our motivation for being here today. It's so important to start with our motivation and our intention. Our bodhicitta intention, which is the compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So we have this wish, we have this intention before we start anything virtuous, like meditation practice, like sitting down for a Dharma teaching or doing a group practice. Our motivation determines the direction of our actions. So it's so important. So let's take a moment to generate that compassionate intention in our mind and make the wish that whatever we learn today, whatever virtue we gather, that it will bring immeasurable benefit to ourselves and all beings. All right. So before we begin, we are going to do some opening prayers. We will do the 7-line prayer. We'll do that 3 times. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Here we go. We'll do it 3 times together. Organ yugi nu chamsam pemage sardompola yasan shogi no drumne pemajune shesudra koru kandrom ampokor keki jesuda guki jinjilo shir sheksu sol Guru Bema Siddhihum Organ Yugi Nucham Sam Pemage Sardompola Yasan Shogi no Drumne Pemajune Shesudra Koru Kandrom Ampokor Keki Jesu Dagdruki Jinjilo Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Bema Siddhihum Organ Yugi Nucham Sam Pemage Sardompola Yasan Shogi Nundrumne Pemajune Shesudra Koru Kandrom Ampokor Keki Jesu Dagdruki Chinjilop Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhihum. So the meditation we'll be doing today, again, is called the Shamatha meditation or Shinne meditation. As taught by Jetsima in her book, Stabilizing the Mind. So that's the text we'll be referring to. So what is meditation? Why are we doing meditation? Why do we strive to do meditation? Meditation is the natural state of our mind when it's relaxed, when it's stable, when it's open. So it trains our mind to be this way and yet also wakeful and alert. So the whole reason we do meditation, it's not to make us, feel happy or lower our blood pressure, although those can be positive side effects. But the real intention, the purpose, the motivation for doing this is to have more spaciousness in our mind. And like we say each week, this spaciousness sometimes is so hard to come by. We can feel like we're rushing from one thing to the next. I felt that way this morning, rushing to get here. We just have so many demands on our time and our energy, and we're moving so quickly in our mind. Like Jetsma says, and all the teachers say, our monkey mind is jumping from one thing to the next. And there's so many things competing for that spaciousness in our mind. So many things. So meditation is the time that we can give our mind the gift of rest, truly resting, relaxing the mind. We think of all the things we do to help those around us or help ourselves. We try to eat right, we try to exercise, we try to learn new things, or whatever that is. What are we doing for our minds? How are we nourishing our minds? How are we resting our minds? So that is where meditation comes into play. And it's so important in Buddhism too, because it's the first step in the development of bodhicitta, which again is that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So that's very important. We need to have that stability of mind, that spaciousness of mind. So we'll take a comfortable seat. So you can be sitting on the ground, or you can sit on a chair if that's more comfortable. So the main point is just to have our spine straight. So have a straight spine. We can have our hands on our thighs and our lap, or we can also do a more traditional posture, which is the right hand over the left and our lap like this, with our shoulders back, elbows back. And we're going to keep our eyes slightly open, relaxed, and gazing down towards the floor, almost like there's a line from the bridge of our nose extending out to the floor, and picking a point on that line to rest our gaze. So we're not intently staring at the floor. Again, relaxed, and we're breathing naturally. And it might take a few deep breaths to get to that natural rhythm of our breath, and that's fine to do that too. And we're keeping the mouth slightly open. We do this by sticking the tip of our tongue on the back of our teeth. And it just rests there like we're making the letter L, the sound L. So we're breathing naturally. And the point of our attention, our single pointed attention, is on the breath. So our mind is going to want to wander, jump from one thing to the next, have a million thoughts. We continually bring it back to the breath, again and again and again, back to the breath. So whatever pops into our mind, or whatever external distraction we have in the room or whatnot, we just drop it and return to the breath. And that can be hard to do. So that's why we're practicing this. So we just drop it. We don't look at it. We don't have to inspect it. We don't have to go down the road with it. Our meditation isn't lost when we have a thought. It's when we run down the road, following it, looking at it, seeing what it is, judging it. And then all of a sudden you're left with just a bunch of thoughts, more thoughts than you wanted. So we're returning to the breath again and again, like if a thought arises, like a bubble rising to the surface of the pond, we would just let that thought pop at the surface of the pond and go away. If this is very hard for us to do, if we find that our mind is very busy this morning, we can imagine cutting the thought or tossing the thought out, if those things are helpful. So again, our attention is on the breath, but it's not a heavy attention. It's a very light attention. So we're not thinking, okay, the breath, inhale, exhale, the breath, it is relaxed. It is a subtle attention. Our attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of the breath. So we are going to try this together. I usually do 3 sessions, and we start with a shorter one, and then we'll do a longer one, and then a shorter one to finish. Just getting my timer out here. So we'll start with 5 minutes. And again, if you're new to meditation, 5 minutes might seem like a long time. Just start where you're at. And you can always just do a minute, 2 minutes, and slowly build that stability over time. Really, the real benefits for meditation are long term. You might, you know, it might feel nice, even though that's not the point, to do one meditation, but you really see the effects of meditation and that spaciousness and stability of mind, um, the more you do it. The less reactive we become and the more calm we become. So let's start the timer now. All right. All right. So we'll increase our time, and then we'll do another session to finish. So again, we really can use meditation as a tool for the times we're living in and a way to create that spaciousness in our mind so that we become less reactive, so that we can handle difficult situations or difficult conversations or whatever life is throwing at us. We can come to that with spaciousness and stability and openness in our mind. And we can use meditation to deal with big emotions that we're having. So, whatever we're feeling, whatever we're going through in our life, meditation is there for you, is a kind of, like a sanctuary there for you within your own mind. You can tap into that and tap into your breath and that awareness anytime. It's always with you. So let's increase our time. So we'll do, it's going to double up our time and a little more. And then we'll do one shorter session too. So starting the timer now. Just doing meditation. All right. So we'll do one more session together. And if you're just joining us, and if you're joining us online as well, we'll just go over quickly before we do our third session. Just want to make sure we have our spine straight and our elbows back, shoulders back, We can either have our hands on our thighs or, again, this traditional posture of right hand over left in our lap. We're just going to breathe naturally, and we're extending our gaze out towards the floor with our eyes slightly open and just resting our gaze. And we have the tip of our tongue and the back of our teeth, almost like an L sound, just letting a little bit of air also move through the mouth as well. And breathing naturally as best we can. Sometimes take some deep breaths to get to that natural breath. And again, we're just trying to, with meditation, increase the stability and spaciousness in our mind. So anytime a thought arises, we return to the breath. So our attention is on the breath. Our single pointed attention is on the breath, but it's a very light attention. So we're not thinking inhale, exhale. Just we're returning our attention to the breath, like a feather gently riding the surface of our breath. So when those thoughts arise, we would just let them go. And, as I mentioned earlier, having thoughts in meditation is not what breaks our meditation. It's when we go down the road with that thought and we look at it and we let it lead us to other thoughts. So it's really about just breaking that chain and returning to the breath again and again. So we always finish with like a little bit of a shorter session. And again, if you're doing this on your own time, if you're new to meditation, you can just start with where you're at. So a minute, 2 minutes, and just increase that time, that span of time slowly. There's no real benefit to jump into the deep end right away if we haven't practiced that stability of mind. So, doing 45 minutes or an hour doesn't make sense if you're just starting. So, let's do another 5 minutes together. And I just want to mention as well, we have resources on our YouTube page, our Kunzang Peo Choling YouTube page. If you want to look at other meditation or teachings on meditation, we have a meditation playlist there that you can access at any time. And then we always just do this meditation at 10 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, so you can always join us. All right, so let's do 5 minutes together to finish. Starting now. All right. So let's, we always want to seal in the virtue, the blessing, the merit generated by doing meditation together. So we have in that blue folder on the back side of our opening prayers, we have our closing prayers, our dedication. So you can just look at that or read along if you'd like, and I'll put them up on the screen for those online. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I'll ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether. Whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have. Similarly, I have come in the same way to benefit beings. Pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. So thank you all for joining, everyone online and everyone here in the room. And we hope to see you next week. We do this at 10 a.m. On Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, or you can tune in again